Sure, Marekani guys, Elia, Uboto, we are back. New week, new video. As always, we are touching on something interesting this week. I've decided to do a series of interesting statistics of 2022 starting this week. So I think the series is gonna go on for like 2 to 3 weeks depending on the content that I have. But yes, without wasting time, this week's statistics is about the top richest men in the world and in South Africa. So I'm gonna mention those the top 5 richest both in the world and in South Africa according to Forbes, with the worth of their wealth. So yes, I'll be looking out of camera here and there because I have some notes here that will be assisting me with the figures. So yes, just bear with me on that. But yes, without wasting no time, let's get right into it. Top richest men in the world currently ending 31 December 2022 according to Forbes. Number 1, we have Bernard Arnault, the chairman of the world's most valuable luxurious goods conglomerate, LVMH, Louis Vuitton, Moet Hennessy. And he's coming through at that number 1 spot with wealth of 175 billion. And then number 2, we have Elon Musk, SpaceX, Twitter, Tesla, coming through with 126 billion worth of wealth. And then number 3, we have Gautam Adani, Indian billionaire, coming through with 117 billion worth of wealth. And then number 4, we have Warren Buffett, Coca-Cola's majority shareholder, through his business company, coming through with wealth worth 111 billion. And then we have Jeff Bezos at number 5, coming through with wealth worth 109 billion. So yes, Bill Gates is not there. So next time you play 30 seconds with your friends, the clue to Bill Gates is not the richest man in the world. Rather use other things, Microsoft and that. Yes. So yes, coming to South Africa, top richest man in South Africa as per 31 December 2022. Number 1, we have the one and only Johann Rupert. Number 2, we have Nicholas Oppenheimer. Okay, wait, Johann Rupert is coming through at with wealth worth of 10.3 billion. And then we have Nicholas Oppenheimer at number 2, coming through at it's just 8 billion. His wealth is worth 8 billion. And then we have Patrice Motsepe coming through at 2.8 billion. And then we have Koos Bekker. Koos Bekker is the chairman of Naspers. So Naspers is the company that owns Takealot. Takealot is more like Amazon. It's an online retail trading company in South Africa, and they are huge. I'm still to make a video on Takealot's performance at the whole online trading, online retail trading of South Africa, how they performed in 2022. I'm still to make a video on that. And then number 4, okay, Koos Bekker is coming through at 2.5 billion, just a few hundred millions below Patrice Motsepe. And number 5, coming through with Michel Leroux. So Michel Leroux founded Capitec Bank. Capitec Bank is the only bank that I know that issues black cards. Like their cards are black, like you can be in any range of income, you get a black card. So yes, I'm going further. I'm just going to talk into how the guys who are number 1 both in the world and in South Africa, how they accumulated their wealth to date. So I'm going to start with South Africa, and then we close it off with the richest man in the world. Yes, without wasting no time, let's get right into it. Johann Rupert. So Johann Rupert, I think he studied in the UK. He worked there, and then in the 1980s, early 1980s, if not 1980 itself, he took over a company that his dad was running, and I think 2 years later, he made the company invest in luxurious goods. As we speak now, the company is a Swiss-based company. It's called Richemont. Richemont, it invests, I mean, it has a lot of luxurious brands under its umbrella. And him, Rupert, he's the chairman of that company. So just to give sort of like a background information on the structures of a corporate business, how it works. So a corporate business works with this thing we call the principal agent. So where the people that own the company are not the people that run the company. So there's that agency principal. There's an agent, which is the directors that run the company, and then there's the principal, which is the investors, the shareholders. So Rupert, okay, before I go into Rupert again, I'm still busy explaining let me explain the structure. So the structure, this is how it is. You have your shareholders, the investors, then you have the directors. The shareholders appoint the directors, people who run the company or who decide on what the company should invest in and all that. And then they appoint executives and managers who now do what the company is supposed to do. And then the managers, they appoint you and me, the employees. So you see how long the structure is. When you enter a company as an employee, you are literally there. You are working for somebody. It's always like we always say that you are working for somebody, but that's how it looks like from where you stand to where the money comes into the company. So so him, Rupert, he sits there by the board, and he's the chairperson of the board. So literally, the board reports to him, and he communicates with the shareholders. And in Richemont, he has a shareholding of 9%, which is equivalent to I think to north of 100 million rand of that company, because that company's worth ending December 2022 was sitting at 1.2 trillion rand. So he owns 9% of that. And then he again owns a South African based company called Remgro. So Remgro actually has all these subsidiaries under its umbrella. Subsidiaries like Distel. Distel is the company that own brands such as Savannah Dry. So Savannah, like the whole Savannah thing. Hunter's Dry, Hunter's Age, some brandies. They're also into wines, Fourth Streets and them, Amarula. That's all Distel, Rupert. And then he also has a major shareholding in Festerland, South Africa. Festerland is like the company that owns F&B. And he also has major shareholding in Mediclinic. I think we have a Mediclinic here in Windhoek. Again, some other subsidiaries under Remgro, things, Vector Logistics, other food brands like your Rainbow Chickens, all those things, they fall under Rupert's Remgro. It's an overwhelming list. These guys, they own almost everything that revolves around your life. From the time when you wake up, go to the bathroom, the stuff that you use in your bathroom, things in your kitchen, all that. It's possible that it's owned by Rupert. Yes. So looking back, you can see that Rupert is this guy who sort of like has his trust issues. He's always sitting on the board of the companies that his investments are. So even in Remgro, he's the chairperson of that board, which has got me thinking, like, even me, I'm always having trust issues. When there's an idea somewhere, I want to be at the forefront of the idea. I want to be there when things are being started. I want to be one of the people who are leading the ideas. But I just, I don't trust people like that. I like being part of the instigators, so I don't get lost. I don't get repelled. Because hey guys, when you invest your money, it's not it's not a nice thing when people just triple you and you lose your money like that. So yeah, I understand where Rupert is coming from. So just to close it off with the richest man in the world, how he sort of like accumulated his wealth. Coming to the 80s, he was actually working for a family construction company when he found out that the company that owned Christian Dior was bankrupted, and the the bank was actually selling this company. So what happens when a company is bankrupted? The bank, because most of the time, these companies, the way they are financed, it's normally through debt and equity. So most of the time, the equity part is easy to get away with it when the company is going down, but the debt part still has to be paid. So that's when now the bank comes in and takes this whole thing and sell it to someone, and they recoup their money out. So he basically bought that company, I think, like for 55 million. Invested heavily in a turnaround strategy. I think by 3 years later, he had laid off around about 9,000 employees. The company was starting to create value, it was just doing well, and just in the midst of the midst of the 80s, Louis Vuitton and Moet Hennessy, they were merging. So he bought shares in that merger. So, and he realized, no, man, this is a luxurious fashion brand coming together with a luxurious spirits brand. This thing is the future. So he decided he's gonna sell a portion of the Christian Dior parent company to buy him more stake in this LVMH conglomerate. He did that. I think the disposals from the other company, they were around about 500 million. Put this a whole 500 million in LVMH. Then he took up the position of CEO and chairman. Since then until to date, that man is holding the same positions, and he went on a heavy expansion run. Started in China, and he started like bringing in all these luxurious brands under the LVMH umbrella. So as we speak right now, there's so many brands under that umbrella. I can mention a few: Fenty by Rihanna, Marc Jacobs. What's the other one that I can think of? Let me see if I have something here. Celine, that's a lot. Like at a given time, this man never has less than 70 luxurious brands under this conglomerate. And just to take a step back, looking at all the richest people in the world, most of them, the two of them, you can see they are in luxurious goods, alcohol. Yes. So there's no doubt that Bernard is going to be the richest man. We know how much Hennessy people consume. Hennessy has become this new thing now. We know how much Moet, is running around the ballers tables at the clubs. You guys are just making Bernard rich. Yep. So the alcohol business, booming. They're doing really well. So yes, just a wrap up on the whole story. It's always good to have a succession plan when you are running a company, when you own a company, because all I can gather here is that all these two guys who are currently the top billionaires in the world, or in the country South Africa, they all took over from somebody that has started these things: parents, relatives. See, and with this comes with a great responsibility of having a succession plan in place, preparing your successor. So as we speak, I think Bernard has all his 5 kids serving into positions in this LVMH conglomerate. So this already can tell you that if this man dies, one of his kids is able comfortably to step up and run this company and take it further for generations and generations to come. and his brothers will do the same if he passes on, and his brothers' kids and his kids, they'll do the, and this thing just will keep on going. Like Louis Vuitton was started in the 80s, like 1854. That's a long time ago. But look at you guys now. That's like the most influential brand right now. Ladies, about the LV bags and all that. So if you are starting a company and you want it to be a generational company, number one, just make peace that you are probably not going to be a millionaire from that company, because by the time you probably pass on, this company has not probably reached an adequate status to be called a million dollar company. So with having the right successors in place, when you die, they can push this thing forward. So just my 2 cents, if you probably have a relative who's in business, and you see the potential in this business, it's high time you talk to them and try to see how you can get involved. And don't be greedy, please. Don't go there and just start squandering people's things and what. Try to contribute on how you guys can move this thing forward, and eventually growing it into a multi-generational company. It's not an easy thing. Most of, like, we see these guys that are now billionaires, somebody was at the genesis of this thing. They just took it over, maybe while the company was 50% functioning or 60% functioning. You run with the structure, you add your few touches here and there, and then it becomes a well-oiled machine. So yes, I'm sorry for boring you guys like that, but yes, I find these things very fascinating, especially business and how it operates and everything. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. The next series we are going to touch on something local, so stay tuned for that. It's not gonna be as long as this video. I apologize for the long video earlier. Also, you guys should have a great week ahead. Cheers.